Good morning, world historians. Mr. Ngolia here. It's Wednesday, March 25th. Hope you're staying healthy and keeping your surfaces clean and maintaining some semblance of regularity. That is a schedule where you do things at roughly the same time each day. That's helpful, I think, during our lockdown here. So please, I'm happy to help you just sort that out if you need to in terms of scheduling or recommendations and so forth. So take advantage of that by contacting me either on email up here in the email box or directly on our Google Meet when the time comes. So I'm going to jump right into today's agenda and we'll take a look at it here. So first item on the agenda, and by the way, notice we do meet at 11:05, and I try to put the time of meeting on each of the agendas. We do not, just as a reminder, meet in person today unless you want to. If you want to, you can go to our meeting, which is here. I just highlighted the meeting that you would type into Google Meet to find us. The instructions for Google Meet is here from Mr. Ferrante. And if you need more on that, you can email me, or hopefully most of you have figured it out. A number of you did not figure it out the other day, so let me know. I'm going to be here pretty much most of the class today, 11:05 to 12:20. If for some reason you miss me, I will catch up to you on email, and we can even arrange a separate time to do a Google Meet. You should ping me when you do Google Meets so that I know you're there. So you can say, "Hey, Mr. Gola, are you there?" Because I'll just be sitting here, but I'm going to have my mute button on, so you won't hear the background noise from me. Okay, so click on the intro screencast, which is what I'm doing right now. So that should be published by the time your class begins at 11, and then we'll move on. So let's go to the next couple of bullets here. You'll notice the next three are all if not dones at the front end of this, which means these are all assignments you've already had before. Some of you have finished, most of you actually have finished the photo essay, this first one here. A few people have not, so if you haven't done it, that's your first priority. Everybody else, you can skip that and make sure you've done the crash course responses to imperialism in that assignment. And again, if you've done it, you can skip this bullet altogether and go down to this one that says finish evaluating primary sources on imperialism. And many people, but not all, have done that. So make sure you get that done. And again, any of these, if you have any questions, want to chat about them, not sure about something I'm asking, etc., better to just contact me. And you can do it during class today. I will be on the Google Meet again. Second to last bullet, reflection discussion on legacy of imperialism. That's a short one. Hopefully you don't have to look at much to do that. Maybe just a little bit, but you can get that done. And a few people have done that. And the only new thing for today are a couple of clips from films that I thought were good. And ideally, we would watch these in class. Of course, we can't do that now. So the first one is on British imperialism. And the second one is on clips from the movie Gandhi. And some of you have seen that movie and know a lot about Gandhi, and others of you have not. But the assignment, I'm just going to click on here, gives you the links to the British film, British Occupation of India here. And I want you to watch about the first 20 minutes of this thing. And some parts of it are, I want to say, a little bit shocking, particularly for folks who are sensitive to animal rights. There's some tiger hunting scenes in here that are pretty brutal, in my opinion. At the same time, gives you a very vivid picture of what the British were doing in their occupation of India during this time. So just pay attention to that. And then there's a couple of clips from the film Gandhi back in the 80s. And one is sort of a series of clips about leading up to the Salt March, what was called the Salt March, that he led as a form of protest against British occupation of India. And the second is his speech on nonviolent philosophy that he gives to a crowd in South Africa, actually. So he started in South Africa as a young lawyer and sort of agitated for rights of Indians there, and then later moved back to India in his life in the 1920s, I believe, and agitated for change there. And then you can respond, once you've seen those clips, to these couple of questions in a few sentences each, and use your best judgment here. So this is more of getting an impression, sort of like looking at a painting in a certain way, of how colonialism and imperialism really looked. So I asked you a couple of questions about how Britain exploited India based on that first film, and then a little bit about Gandhi's nonviolent philosophy and why was it successful in the long run. It's sort of an opinion question, but I'm hoping you can spend a little time doing this. So I'm going to go back to the agenda and talk a little bit about homework and test. So we won't meet again, but we will meet in person. I should say we will meet again in person on Google Meet on March the 30th, Monday, March the 30th, and that will be also at 11:05. But I need everyone to actually be there, and I'll add this, and I'm going to put it up in the top bullet here in the agenda too, that we're going to go with cameras on during this meeting. So if you're someone who doesn't want to be seen in your room, or you had a bad hair day or whatever, you need to get up a little bit earlier to be prepared for that, do so, because we're going to be all on camera. And we are going to have actually a test on that day. And I give you, so let's actually just hold off a second. I'll go through the homework list here and we'll talk about the test. So first item on homework, if you haven't done the primary source document, get that done here. And that assumes you've done these assignments, the photo essay and crash course responses. So make sure you get those done before you do anything else. That should be done today and out of your way. And then for homework, if you haven't quite completed the primary source thing, get that done. And then second, most important perhaps, is review your reading notes. And we're going to have a quiz, as I mentioned, on that Monday, second part of the block. And here's some multiple choice questions for you to practice. And I put a whole bunch up here. There will be a few of these on your quiz, but it's not only going to be multiple choice questions. So these, clearly we're going to go by honor system to a degree here. The first part will be a few multiple choice and some matching on Schoology, but the second part of your test on Monday is going to be handwriting some short essay responses. So I could ask you questions about any of the materials on imperialism, any of the key terms or ideas on imperialism that we studied. That's why I say review your reading notes, and actually class notes too. I'll add that in here. So if a term happens to come up that might be in one of these multiple choice questions, like partition or direct versus indirect rule, you'll know what that's about, and you'll be able to respond in writing. And so the way that'll work is you will handwrite and then take a picture, just as you do with your notes. You'll take an image shot of your handwriting from the paper that you have, and you'll post it into a Schoology assignment box, just as you do with reading notes and other assignments that you've done where you're taking an image of your writing. If you have done and feel you're well prepared for the test on Monday, then make sure you finish this assignment that I mentioned earlier on British imperialism, Gandhi, and the films. So that's actually last priority. You don't have to have that done by the time of the quiz on Monday. So again, quiz Monday, March 30th, first one at home, and it'll involve both a few multiple choice. There might even be some matching in there on Schoology, and then a couple short essays. And it'll probably just be one piece of paper that you'll take a picture of and send me that. It's not going to be a huge quiz point-wise, but it's not as big, for instance, as the photo essay, but it's definitely going to count probably in the neighborhood of 15 points or so, so not really big. Okay, that is it for today, March the 25th. Once again, take care of yourselves, and really I want to urge you to contact me if you have any questions, you're unsure about things, you're just want to show me some piece of work that you've got, whatever it happens to be, any of these things. I'm happy to look at those, but the best time to do it is during our actual class meeting time. Today, that's from 11:05 to 12:20. If for some reason we have to meet outside that, that's fine too, but we need to obviously be in communication. Okay? All right, world historians, take care of yourselves, stay on schedule, get out of bed at a decent hour in the morning, don't sleep super late, and eat well. Take care of yourselves. Talk soon. Bye.